In this video, I'll be sharing some recommended strategies for approaching tough conversations with clients and customers, specifically conversations centered around a mistake that you made. I'll be sharing some wisdom from former Disney CEO Bob Iger, as well as Eminem. No, not that Eminem. Yeah, that's the one. My name is Kyle Sulerud. I'm the founder of AdLeg, a marketing company that specializes in YouTube ads. And today I'm going to talk about mistakes. While I've never personally made a mistake, I know many of you have. Making a mistake that affects a customer can be a particularly tough thing to deal with. Let's look at one way to approach this with a lesson from Eminem. In the movie 8 Mile, the character B Rabbit, played by Eminem, is in the final round of a rap battle, and he's facing off against Papa Doc. B Rabbit goes first and spends much of his turn talking about his own perceived shortcomings. I am white. I am a bum. I do live in a trailer with my mom. He talks about all the things his opponent could potentially diss him about. B Rabbit ends by saying, "Here, tell these people something they don't know about me." And then he throws his microphone at Papa Doc, and sure enough, Papa Doc has nothing left to say. He walks off the stage defeated. So what is the lesson here? Obviously, a conversation with a customer is not the same as a rap battle. We're not trying to embarrass and defeat our customers. Instead, the lesson here is say it first. If you speak first about a mistake or a shortcoming, it builds trust. It relieves any negative tension. Even if the customer wasn't going to call you out on the mistake, they're still thinking about it. When you bring it up, it clears the air, improves the relationship, and clears a path for you to transition to the next part of the conversation where you present your plan. Owning up to your mistakes doesn't do a whole lot if that's all you're doing. You can't just stop there and then continue on with the way things were before. If you repeat what you were doing before, you'll make the same mistake again. So you need to have a plan for how you can make up for the mistake and how you can prevent making similar mistakes in the future. Once you communicate your plan to your customer, they start looking beyond the original mistake and they start getting excited about your continued commitment. This concept doesn't just apply to customer and client communication. If you ask anyone on my team how I react when there's been a mistake, they'll tell you the first thing I ask about is the system that enabled the mistake. Did the system break down? Was the system not followed? Was there no system at all? By figuring out how the system was at fault, we can improve the system and prevent similar mistakes in the future. Now, this doesn't mean that every little mishap requires a new system or a new policy. I'd actually strongly advise against that and really just apply this to big mistakes, important things that went wrong. The key thing here is accountability, ownership of the mistake, and ownership of the new plan. I want to wrap up with a story from Bob Iger's autobiography, The Ride of a Lifetime. Bob is the former CEO of Disney, growing the company's profits 335% during his 15 years of leadership. But before becoming CEO of Disney, he was working for ABC Sports in one of his first roles in the entertainment industry. During a meeting with top executives, Bob was sitting in an outer ring of chairs with other lower-level employees surrounding the executive table. Roone Arledge, who was president of ABC Sports at the time, was irate because they had missed airing a race in which a world record time was set in the mile. And Bob had this to say about it in his book. "We were normally on top of such things, but there were unexpected complications in this case, and I hadn't been able to procure the rights to the race in time to air it." Roone looked around the table at his senior team, wanting to know who was at fault. From the outer edges of the room, I raised my hand and said that it was my mistake. The room went silent. 24 heads turned toward me. Nobody said anything, and we moved on. But after the meeting, various people came up to me and murmured, "I can't believe you did that." "Did what?" "Admitted it was your fault." "What do you mean?" "No one ever does that." Rune never said anything to me about it, but he treated me differently, with higher regard, it seemed, from that moment on. And that's the power of taking responsibility for mistakes. It's no accident that Bob went on to become a praised CEO of Disney, securing the Pixar acquisition, the Marvel acquisition, the Lucasfilms acquisition, and the 20th Century Fox acquisition. If Bob was the type of guy who tried to squirrel his way out of responsibility, he never would have become CEO of Disney. Similarly, companies that try to squirrel their way out of responsibility rarely make it to the top of their industry. So, are you a squirrel or a rabbit? Sorry, I had to. Are there any stories you love about people or companies owning up or not owning up to their mistakes and the effect that that had on their business? Please leave a comment below. I would love to hear those stories. And if you liked this video and want to see more like it, then hit the like button so I can make more like it. Thanks for watching today's video. Again, my name is Kyle Sulerud, and I'll see you in the next video.